This is your Estuary Report. I'm Jerry Kay. To some, California has become a giant ant colony based on one species of ant, the Argentine ant. It was first observed here in the early 1900s, and it can be found in most urban environments from San Diego to Eureka. It's a very difficult ant to eliminate, and in fact, it's so populous that eliminating it is probably out of the question.
How much of an intrusion do you want these ants to have? Well, if they're on your kitchen table eating your donuts in the morning, not so good. If they're in your backyard walking around on a plant, probably not an emergency that you need to deal with. In fact, even if you did eliminate those, they would be replaced within a day's time with some other ants.
Ants are really the worst pest in Northern California and really all of California. They come in the winter time, they come in when it rains, they come in any time the weather changes.
So what we say is, okay, deal with the problems that are maybe the most severe and deal with them in a way that makes some sense for you and your family.
The thing that we used to always do was grab a can of bug spray, right? But what's in the bug spray is incredibly toxic. It's incredibly toxic to our environment. Frankly, that's probably not what most people care about. You care about what's in your home. So you don't want to spray this stuff on your counters. You don't want to even spray this stuff around your yard where your dog's going to snuffle around in it, or your kids or your neighbor's kids are going to roll around in it and then maybe bring it into their mouths.
Ants are actually fairly easy to kill if you were to spray them. They're fairly difficult to control by spraying, however, from the long-term standpoint. And that's because the ones you see are the worker ants. They happen to be all sisters, by the way. And they are just a very small part of the population. The rest is hanging out in the colonies somewhere else, usually in a remote place that you can't see or can't find. So spraying a few ants in your kitchen gives you a little bit of instant gratification, and maybe there's a revenge factor there. You feel good about it, but guess what? They're going to be back the next day.
You want to block the ants from coming into your house.
Ants follow trails, and the reason you see them kind of lined up following this trail is that they will actually lay a little bit of what's known as a trail-following pheromone or chemical on the surface of your kitchen counter or your floor, and that allows them to find things and then go back and forth from the colony.
So how do we control ants in our homes?
There's a fabulous green alternative. We refer to it as IPM, which stands for Integrated Pest Management. It uses a number of techniques to avoid the chemical spraying, and it's also very effective. So you keep the ants from getting in the first place. So where you have cracks or holes, you can patch them up with caulk or sealant. You can use a simple household item like Vaseline to swipe down a little barrier on your door sills or your window sills. Ants don't like to cross Vaseline. You can also use baits. This is a great alternative. We've got a bait system here that contains a natural boric acid that's toxic to ants, but nothing else. It doesn't wipe out anything in creeks. It doesn't harm your children or your pets. And the way you want to shop for this is look for a bait container when you go down to your local store, your hardware store, what have you, to pick up some ant baits. Look for a container like this. You can just put them around your kitchen, put them at the entrances to your home. You want to keep them inside rather than outside.
So if you combine that trail elimination with a bait process, over a few days you can effectively eliminate the problem if you're pretty judicious at it.
There are many excellent resources out there to help you deal with ants. Here's Athena Honore to tell you more.
The Our Water, Our World program has a number of fact sheets for any specific pest problem you might be encountering. Yellow jackets, cockroaches, got ants. They'll give you less toxic ways to deal with them. The UCIPM program has some great resources. And EcoWise Certified also has a list of trained pest control operators who have actually been certified in less toxic pest control methods.
And we also thought this flyer would be helpful. It's called Healthy Home, Healthy Estuary, and it's from the San Francisco Estuary Partnership. For more information and resources, please visit sfestuary.org. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the Estuary Report podcast to make sure you receive them just as soon as they're published.